back to Hearing Voices, the voices from the Mausoleum corner of the Zervis channel. Tasha and I are back with top picks.
There you go. Top 5, top picks.
Our last, so much better than the other way. Our last top 5 that we did was we each had our top 5 best female horror performances. So go back and check that out if you haven't. This time we are talking our top 5 picks for best ghosty movie, haunted, ghost, spooks. You know, whatever other hashtag I'll come up with for when I share these out.
All of them.
All of the hashtags for all of the things. So anyway, so we're going to do pretty much the same format that we did last time. We'll go from our number 5 to our number 1, and we'll just kind of pivot back and forth. You made me go first last time, right? So you go first this time?
Oh, I did. My first one is Rose Red, which is based on Stephen King.
The Stephen King miniseries?
Yeah. Was it a miniseries? I had it on DVD.
It's not miniseries month because it was like 6 hours long or something. But yeah, go ahead. I know
it is super long. It was on 2 CDs or 2 DVDs. I know that much. Because that was before they did double-sided DVDs. Throwing it back.
That was aging us horribly. Be quiet. Just keep
talking. I love just the whole story, like behind the Winchester, like the actual Winchester house. I'm super sad that I've driven past it, but I didn't actually get to go there when I lived in California.
It's a bucket list item. I'd love to go into it, do a tour though.
Yes. Yeah, I love like the character. Of course, now that knowing it's a miniseries, I mean, almost everything Stephen King has to be a miniseries because there's so much detail.
Long. Yeah, that's all miniseries month with Stephen King stuff. It, The Shining, Kingdom Hospital, which is my personal favorite, and everything. Pet Sematary is the only one that's not 1 billion hours.
Pretty much. Carrie.
Oh, Carrie.
But yeah. But this one, like the character development, the way that, I mean, it's haunted, but that the house is utilized to, when you're fighting against your entire environment, like there's only so much you can do. And questioning reality the way that you do in that movie is just phenomenal.
Yeah.
So that's a good one. I would put that on and just like, of course, it was always a pain because I had to get up and like change DVDs out. So sometimes I would just watch the first half.
Stop talking.
I would just watch the first half over and over and over again. So that I didn't have to get up and change it if I didn't feel good. That was like my sick movie.
Oh, I get it. That's a good one. It had the girl from Quince in it. And Marnie she played the little girl.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's a good one. I feel like a lot of people talk about that one, so that was a good shout. So my number 5 is, oh my God, I already forgot what it was. Oh, The Woman in Black.
That's not the Daniel Radcliffe one, right? Or is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I love that movie. I realize that some people don't feel that way, but I love that movie. So for me, I tend to, I'm starting to notice a theme in things, honestly. There's a lot of emotion in that story, and there's motherly themes, right? And so because you've seen it. Have you seen Woman in Black? Mm-hmm. Okay. So the whole thing is like, this piece of garbage sister has her sister deemed unfit so she could take her child away from her. And she's like, okay, bet. So then, she hangs herself in the house, and then she's like, it ain't over yet, And so she haunts it, and she does this to the whole town because the town supports this as the town's part of the problem. Anyway, I love this one because I love a ghost story that has depth to it. And this, I think, has depth. I love that it's very gothic horror in atmosphere and timeline and, architecture. And I thought it had some really good scary moments, some intense moments. Those, you see something behind him, but he doesn't know it's there. And the marsh is very unsettling. The children's deaths that you do get to see are pretty unsettling. And, for anyone who's not aware, they did do that before Terrifier 3. And so it's also PG-13, but also it has one of the most satisfactory. I'll get there. That word. It has the most satisfyingly sad ending of like any horror movie that I've ever seen. And even though the ending is technically what would in a video game be considered a bad ending, I love the ending. I think it's technically a happy ending, and I really loved the setup for it. It didn't need a sequel, for anyone wondering how I feel about that. But yeah, I just really love it. I think it's a really great way to show that a ghost or a haunting movie or story can be more than cheap jump scares. And I just really appreciated the depth and the layers that movie had.
That's fair.
You didn't like it, did you?
I honestly don't really remember. It was one of those like
when I worked like this, and I'm like, oh no.
I'm like trying to, because it was when I was working night shift many moons ago. And we would just like binge watch stuff, and at that point I wasn't keeping close track of
no, it's so good. Well,
I remember watching it, and
if you revisit, I'd be curious what you think of it now, but I love it. I think it's also a great example of the boundaries you can push with a PG-13 movie and it still be pretty creepy. So
yeah, I don't remember hating it, so there's that.
I don't think anybody hates it that I'm aware of. I think most people find it to be pretty mid-range. And then I'm the only one that's like, I love this movie. But that's pretty par of the course. I always am in the minority on these things of like movie takes. But anyway,
that's fair.
Yeah. What's your number 4?
My number 4 is Paranormal Activity.
I came so close to putting Paranormal Activity on my list. And I was like, nope. Let me think a little differently. Okay.
I know.
Great.
So I saw this in theaters when it came out, when I was like not entirely into my horror. I can't call it a phase. My horror lifestyle, I guess.
It's a
because I was a giant chicken. And this one just stuck with me so hard. Obviously everybody's like, oh, hey, they had no budget and everything else other than the marketing. But at the time, the apartment that I lived in, right before the furnace would kick on, it would make that rumbling noise.
Oh, I remember you telling me this.
It pops up, right before everything happens in the movie. So I didn't sleep for like 2 days because I would be there laying like 2:00 in the morning ready to go to sleep, and I would hear that noise and I'm like, I'm gonna die. This is it. It's over. So there's a lot of, I know it's kind of one of those love or hate movies.
Is
for
it?
people. There's some people that aren't like
huge
fans.
I love that. I love that franchise. I think it lost its magic in a couple of them, but
it does some weird stuff.
The first one is scary though. Like
it is. It's so good.
Scary.
Like one thing we always talk about when it comes up is like when you see somebody standing like out in a yard in the middle of the night and they're looking away from you, they're gonna sit there till morning.
Yeah, I'm not going out there to see what's wrong. Like you're on your own.
I'm not going out there.
You can be possessed by yourself outside. Yeah, no. Well, it's so funny.
I'll toss a blanket out on the porch for you if you come to and get cold, but like
otherwise, I'm sorry. And I think it's funny because we're talking about it being scary. Like these moments we're talking about are giving me chills. Like the sound that you're talking about, like I got literal chills when you brought that up because that movie still to me, because I just rewatched them all. Addie and I rewatched them all together at some point. I think maybe last year towards the end of the year or something. I don't know. We went through and watched all of them because I think there's like 1 or 2 she hadn't seen. I think she'd seen most of them. So we went through and we rewatched all of them all the way to Next of Kin. And the first one to me just like still holds up. It's minimalistic. There's not a lot of heavy editing, which is perfect. There's like 35 endings. It's great. I love it.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah, there's just so many
great shout
little things that, like I said, they just stick with you forever. So
I totally agree. So we're on 4, right?
Yeah.
Okay. My number 4 is Insidious.
Yes.
I am in, what is it when you're like not ashamed, unabashed? Is that the correct term?
Yeah.
I am. I am an
You must have a
unabashed.
really good editor or something.
I
Like,
know it's you're building my vocabulary here. It's the tense that's going to make you annoyed. I am an unabashed fan of the Insidious franchise. I love all of them, all of
mm-hmm.
them. I do not personally feel that there is a weak one in the bunch. I love them all. Addie and I went and saw The Red Door in theaters when it came out. I was in shambles. I loved it so much. It was so good. So I'm a big fan, but the original in particular, I felt took a normal ghost story and really stretched out the lore and added these other elements that involved astral projection, the afterlife, this in-between place called the further, like this got the psychic element with the weird ass mask and the cutesy
Oh my
little
god, the gas mask.
The gas mask is wicked. It's so cool though. First of all, Elise is like the coolest person in the world. So cool.
Yeah.
And so and I love her 2 little helpers, you know, the guy who did Saw, and they're like paranormal investigators, and just literally it checks so many boxes for me. It's got stuff with kids, which is horrifying. And it's just and it's another one, just like I was saying with Woman in Black, where there's depth to it. There's a lot of stuff going on. You've got Rose Byrne, who I love. I love her. She's such a fantastic actress. And she plays the mom. And I just love it. I think that Insidious is such a great franchise, but the first one in particular was, to me, it broke new ground in a haunted house kind of concept. And I thought it was really creative and innovative. And I love what it continued to do as they made more movies. So that's my number 4.
Plus, even people who don't like the movie, you hear that Tiptoe Through the Tulips song,
you're out.
And you're just like, what?
Through the garden. Like,
yeah.
Not me going through that garden anyway. But that,
especially if you've ever seen pictures of that dude, like,
he's scary looking too.
Tiny Tim or something like that.
This scene when that little boy ghost plays that song, okay, and the mom walks back through the house, okay, and she walks past where the coats are hanging up, and you don't notice it until like your 3rd watch of the whole movie, or somebody points it out to you. The little boy is standing like I have chills. Like, he's literally in the coats. And the first time I watched the movie, never noticed it. Second time, I don't think I noticed it. But somebody at some point had said something, or I finally saw it. And when I tell you, it scared me so bad, I was like, I do not like that. That is problematic. I do not like it. And it was so good. So no, I love the Insidious franchise. They keep making them. I'll keep watching them. I love those movies.
Yeah, they're pretty good. I mean, Patrick Wilson. Come on.
He's great. I really love him in this and The Conjuring, which I purposefully did not put on the list, but he's just, he's great. And he directs and writes or produces and does other stuff, and he's very talented. I like him a lot. But anyway, and I think he plays the dad roles very well. Like, he's does.
Dreamy. That's the important part. He's dreamy. So my 3rd one, it was weird because a good chunk of this list is like nostalgia for me, but at the same time, I kind of felt obligated to put this one on here. The Sixth Sense, because I mean I know.
I can't believe I didn't even think of that one. What was I doing with my life?
Shame on you.
No,
that's okay. I thought of it for us.
Yeah, I love that movie.
Yeah, just the way everything just gets tipped on. I mean, there's occasionally somebody will pop up where they're like, I knew he was a ghost the whole time. And I'm just like,
they're lying. Do you understand?
They are so lying.
If that's you, you're a liar, and we know that you're lying. So sit down.
Calling you out right now.
Nobody knew that was the twist. Sit down and shut your mouth.
Right? And I mean, the scene that always gets everybody is like when he's sitting in that little tent and there's the girl that like throws up all over the place. And just this poor, and I love that it's all told from this poor kid's perspective, because
poor Haley Joel Osment. I know. Good Lord. You know who plays the mom in that, right?
I don't remember.
The mom is Toni Collette.
Oh
yeah. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh, I love her.
She's fantastic. I can't believe she wasn't on our other list. Honorary mention.
I know. How did we not think it?
Oh. But yeah, Toni Collette plays the mother in Sixth Sense. She's the mom. Weird, right?
Disappointed in myself.
Girl.
But yeah, that, like I said, telling it from a kid's perspective, just, it's not like seeing these things happen to a kid. It's like experiencing them.
It's
as
completely
a kid.
Different. Yeah. No, I agree with that.
Yeah. And then to find out, like, this whole time, you know, what you think is reality is not
reality.
What it's set up to be. Yeah. And for some reason, I always have that image of the patient, like, who ends up shooting him, like, stuck in my head. Like,
yes. That's Donnie Wahlberg.
Is it really?
I think so.
Oh my god.
I'll look it up real quick, but I'm pretty sure that's right.
Yeah, double check that. But yeah, that movie.
Yeah, Donnie Wahlberg.
I'll be damned.
And Toni Collette is the mom.
That's crazy.
Yep.
I guess
there's a lot of big names in this movie.
That it is. Like, I guess probably because I saw it when I was a kid. Like, obviously I didn't care who Toni Collette was.
I didn't know who those people were. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just never even made that connection. So she's a badass. I love her so much.
I agree.
Dang it. I'm mad now.
But yeah, The Sixth Sense is good. I'm with you on that one. That is one of very few movies that I have memories of seeing as a kid and distinctly remember not being able to go to bed after I watched it. It scared me.
Yeah.
Really bad.
I can't.
Really bad. It scared me really bad. Like, I was like, this, like, I'm not going to bed ever. Like, it was good. No, it was good.
That is a good one. All right, your turn. Number 3.
My next one is my number 3 is 13 Ghosts.
Ah!
Do we have an overlap?
We do have an overlap.
It's our first one. Okay.
It is.
So, well, I'll keep it kind of simple. I think for this one, it's another one that I think takes the genre and stretches it out. You've got some crazy story. There's depth to it. There's a bunch of different types of ghosts. Each ghost has their own story. It's got Matthew Lillard in it. He's great. Like, he's like, did I say there was a petting zoo downstairs? No, that's not what I said. He's great. His conversation pieces with him is just the best. But yeah, no, I just think it's a phenomenal movie. I think it's scary. I think, again, it kind of pushed the boundary of what a story about a haunting could be. And you've got the trapping concept and all these symbols, and it just really elevated the experience of, okay, well, we moved into this house, which is a trope, right? We moved into this house and it's haunted. Oh no, and it really stretched it, and I loved it. I think I just think it's a super great. It goes to show you what you can do with such a typical tropey type of subgenre, and just really making it something unique.
Yeah, and I feel like it comes up a lot, especially when it comes to people, talking about getting, movies for each of the ghosts, like something like that. Like,
Netflix is supposed to do a series, but they haven't. It's not in pre-production yet. It's still just whispers. And we've been asking, the fans have been asking, like, we would like that. That would be very cool. Thank you. You
know what some of the fans would like? Archive 81. But you know what? Netflix sucks.
Bro, did you see the thing on Twitter? Side tangent really quick. Did you see the thing on Twitter today that the Netflix made a statement that they've never canceled a successful show?
I'll fight somebody.
You haven't? Are you joking right now?
Fight somebody.
You are a liar, pants on fire, because yes, you
cancel all the things.
all of the things. And then somebody quote tweeted it and listed as many as Twitter would let them because of character limitations. All these movies that were in the 90 percentile on Rotten Tomato, and they had canceled every single one that was on that list. And that's not even all of them. That's just what they could fit on the Twitter page.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So I feel like Netflix employs the Burgermeister Meisterburger, who is like, oh, this brings you joy, delete. Like that's how they decide what stays and what goes. I have been personally victimized by Netflix on multiple occasions, and
Same.
I don't appreciate
it. Me too. I was obsessed with that show. The Order is a werewolf witch show. I was obsessed with it.
Oh yeah.
And it got canceled on like a massive cliffhanger. And I was like, these motherfuckers. Every time I knew better. I knew better. That's why I don't watch stuff on Netflix until it's done.
Yeah.
But anyway, well, what was your number for 13 Ghosts? Was it 2 or 1? It was your number 1. Oh, well, yeah. That's okay. I really love this one. And what's really crazy is, so my friend Melinda is not like the biggest horror fan, but she loves 13 Ghosts. That's like one of her favorites. But I think it's because it really is just such a unique take on the film. So, but anyway, what's your next one?
My number 2 is the remake of House on Haunted Hill. Crazy nostalgia from that one. Like in other stuff we've done, talked about, but I had this weird phase. Like as a kid, I was super into horror. And then I lost my tolerance for it, and everything just terrified me. And then eventually, like, I got back into it. So this was one of those movies during that first wave of horror, because we had it on VHS. How's that for feeling old in this episode? Like, throwing it back for everything.
I don't know why you do this to me. You're becoming radar at this point. I don't...
Yeah, so just, I don't even, character development, I haven't watched it as an adult to like dissect it, but I just remember as a kid being horrified by some of the things happening in the movie and some of the hauntings, and the way, again, kind of your entire setting is like, or your entire environment is out to get you, and,
Yeah. I love that.
It's just one of those that there's just like random images from the movie. Like when there's that, it's not like a deprivation tank, but it's almost like a gas chamber kind of thing. And there's like the face, like
the spinning thing
spazzing out. Yeah. That's one of those things that just lives in my brain rent free forever.
Yeah. They did, I think for that one too, for me, I love that movie. They did such a great job casting that one.
They did.
And that's the thing, because like the original is Vincent Price. And it's big shoes, you know? And so, but I think they did a really great job with it though. No, it's really good. I liked it.
Yeah. I do love that. It's Captain Barbosa, right? That plays the...
Yes. Oh my God. Jeffrey, no. I know his name. What is his name?
I know.
Off the top of my head.
Yeah. Hang on. So it's 1999. That's not bad.
Rush. Jeffrey Rush.
Yes.
I remembered.
And Allie Larder. I love her.
Oh, I love Allie Larder. And Taye
Diggs.
Taye Diggs. It was Taye Diggs. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's her name from Jean Grey, whatever her name is. She played the wife.
Famke.
Whatever it is.
Famke.
Yeah. She's great too. No, they did a good job casting it.
Or little Chris Kattan.
Yeah.
That's fine.
My number 2, and if I recall correctly, I think this is one that you really, really like as well. His House.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Again, typical ghost story turned into something more. And I loved the use of the house to kind of take us in this journey of learning what actually happened before they got there. I would definitely consider it to be a statement horror, but the cinematography and the way that this movie is filmed is super effective, and you just end up, I think, feeling a lot of things for the characters, the husband and wife that are our main two characters. And I just remember going into it like, oh, new Netflix movie. Let me just check it out, right? And walking away being like, that was an incredible movie. Like, I was not prepared to go into something and come out of it feeling like changed, like it was such a great movie. And it had a lot of really great commentary on immigration and the word is asylum status and all of those kinds of things. And this isn't in the States. This takes place in England somewhere, I think.
Yeah.
And so anyway, but it had a lot to say, and it was very well acted. The atmosphere was there. It was unsettling. It had a lot going on, and I just really, really liked it. It was just another one that I felt like was super unique, to a super unique take on, a haunted house. So, yeah, and I guess we know your number one was 13 Ghosts.
With his house, before we jump onto that one, and any other Doctor Who fans will understand what I mean. It was really hard to see Matt Smith in like a more serious role. He's the one that played like their not really social worker, but like
the person who's like trying to help them keep like get settled or whatever. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I can't remember which doctor he was, but he was, or which number doctor he was, but yeah, he goes from playing such like a goofy, like that's all I'd ever seen him in, and then
to this, which is like not,
like with Hereditary, seeing the kid from Jumanji play in Hereditary, like all I could think of was Jumanji. Like still, every time I see him, I'm like, it's Jumanji. That's
Yeah, I think, his house is so good, though. I really liked it. If you're watching this and you haven't seen it, highly recommend. There's a lot to find, I think, in that film. Did you want to add anything to 13 Ghosts before I tell you what my number one is?
I think we covered most of it. It's just, it is really cool how the entire house is kind of structured like this puzzle. And I know, it's just, it's so much more complex. And of course, the Matthew Lillard character is just, he's a riot and everything. So, and just, like the different ghosts and knowing that they had, this theme for each ghost and it, and it's another, nostalgia watch.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Tony Shalhoub monk in there, like, trying to save his kids.
The monk. Yeah. Weird casting choice, but for some reason it worked.
It did work.
Yeah, no, I love 13 Ghosts. My number one is Ganjiam Haunted Asylum.
Ooh, yes. I don't know why I didn't think of that one.
It is by far.
It is so good.
One of the scariest movies I've ever seen in my life, I think. Yeah. I watched it. I think the last time I watched it, I was trying to get. I think the last time I watched it, I was trying to get Addie to watch it. Well, we watched it, and I was just like amazed at how terrified I still was. Like, there's scenes in this, one in particular, but there's scenes in this that are just like scary. Like, and I feel like, and it's found footage, and so which is, as you know, that's a big box check for me. And it's also Asian horror, which is another major box for me. They just do it better. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But I learned a lot about this when I watched it on a whim. When I first started making the social media accounts for Voices, I watched it for the first time, and I was like doing research because one of the things I used to do for my 30-second reviews is I would do like a couple facts about the movie if there were any. And I learned like so much about the making of it that it just made me love it even more. And I just have a lot of love and respect for it. And it's just one of my like go-tos when people are like looking for something scary, like legitimately scary. This is what I go to. And again, it's, you know, it's a pretty basic setup. It's a haunted asylum. Bad stuff happened. But it's what gets us there and the journey through it that makes it a different experience. And then you add the content creator, which is another thing I really, really love to see, especially in the found footage genre, because the two just make sense to put together. But I love the content creating side of it too, of like, we have to do this thing. We're breaking in. We have to do this because we got to get the views and we got to do this and we got to do, I mean, like it just works. But yeah, it's definitely by far one of the scariest movies I've ever seen. And so it's my number one for haunted anything. I just think it's like the best of the best.
I need to rewatch that because I was thinking the other day, I think the last movie I watched that really unsettled me was probably Oddity. And
Oddity,
I mean, it's spooky season, so I have to watch something.
Time to be unsettled.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Yeah, that's one that I'll have to give a rewatch because I've gotten into this bad habit too. Like now that I work from home, I don't just sit there and watch a movie as much as I'm used to.
Yeah.
Because it's not like I'm coming home and then sitting there watching a movie to decompress. Like,
no, I get that.
Like so so I need to. That's one that you have to be. I mean, not just because it's a foreign film, but just in general, it's one that you have to watch and focus on, and
a lot of little plot points and things that happen. No, for sure. Especially when like things really start amping up, but it's just such a great movie. If somebody's watching this and they have not seen Gonjiam Haunted Asylum, it's usually streaming on multiple things, but it is a fantastic found footage movie. Super good.
So good.
Yeah. Well, cool. That is our top picks for haunted, ghosty, spook. You know, you saw the beginning of the video. I don't all of the things. So yeah, well, cool. Well, if you didn't see the previous list, we did best female performances in horror movies or TV shows. So feel free to go check that out. We'll be back with more lists eventually and some more horror bestie breakdowns, of course. And I didn't say this in the other episodes, but Tasha's, I'll you'll be tagged and everything when it goes out anyway, but so people can find you and where you are over at the Sinister Scoop. But yeah, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us on our adventure down ghosty stories. We hope you have a good day and we will see you in the next one.
Bye.